Alright guys, let's get after it. PiGFest begins with Shopify Rebellion's Lambo coming in the second qualifier. Unfortunately, eliminated last in his free-for-all seeding match. And as a result, he got thrown in to the deep end. And of course, you know what waits in the deep end, guys? Some say a Kraken, some a Leviathan, some a dark creature from the swampy dark. But you know what? Despite Zerg being very swampy, SERRAL is much more like some sort of winter yeti. A cross between a polar bear and, of course, a stoic Finnish man who has basically an absolute inability to brook any mistakes in his play. I don't know where this tangent's going. My point is PiGFest starting. This is the first group stage match. SERRAL's playing very safe with the pool first in the bottom right side. Lambo wisely goes for a greedy hatchery first play. Of course, Lambo has studied SERRAL's best of 7. What do you mean, SERRAL's best of 7? SERRAL played a best of 7 against Rogue in the upper finals of RSL a few days ago, where Rogue threw the kitchen sink at SERRAL. It was an incredibly back and forth match, and I think we really saw Rogue playing some of his best StarCraft ever. Rogue's in this group as well as SHIN, by the way. It's 4 Zergs in this group. Rogue picked this group over Maru and Raynors. Lambo, of course, didn't have a choice, as he was last in his seeding match. But point being, Rogue threw the kitchen sink at SERRAL. SERRAL showed us exactly what he's done a lot of recently, and for the many years, which is defensive, roach play, into lurkers, into vipers, turtle it out when necessary, perfect tunneling claw harassment when he's under pressure, Nidus Worm all-ins. If he senses you're being greedy and going to mutas, he will try to do a Nidus timing, and an ability to just hang in there and survive very, very well. But also, SERRAL hit some good timing attacks. Compared to 2018 SERRAL, where he was very defensive and almost purely defensive, I mean, he's been a player who knows how to attack in ZVZ for a very long time. And that's, of course, what helped equalize his results a little bit against Raynor, for instance, as well. So I really think that's something where you've got to realize you can't play as greedy as Rogue. I think that Rogue kind of dominated SERRAL in a lot of the games, and just with this crazy muta swaps, ultras, mass upgraded Zergling plays, weird, crazy plays. But where Rogue got into trouble was like, I'm going to build 3 hatchery before pool and just have no defense. And a few little things like that were what really hurt him. So, sorry guys, we had one of our settings didn't save correctly there, so just making sure that's all good, and there we go. That should feel a bit better now. The panning won't be quite so jagged. This is a build Rogue did against SERRAL. The early Carapace, I believe this was game 1 of their series on Rorschach. Carapace before Zergling speed allows you to do a very fearsome Ling Flood. Now, SERRAL's been a big fan of Ling Bane pressure, but it actually didn't serve him too well against Rogue, so we might see an even more defensive SERRAL where he just takes a third base and goes from that. Still no Baneling Nest. Wait. Oh. Whoa. SERRAL's going Evo Chamber as well. Okay. But it's quite late in comparison. He's going to do something. Dude, SERRAL's greed. He's gone Ling speed on 2 base. Now he takes a third, just seconds after Lambo. So they both saturate their 2 bases, get workers back on the main gas, and then go to the next step. But what does SERRAL... Does he click Carapace? It feels a little late to go Carapace, and yet it is indeed also a Carapace upgrade. But a pretty big lead there for Lambo. And since Ling speed wasn't able to do anything, like it's not like SERRAL's punished him for the late Ling speed. I mean, by the time any of SERRAL's Lings get across the map, Ling speed should be coming in for Lambo as well. And this feels like a classic defensive play for SERRAL, but you've got to realize that he likes being defensive. And I think he's like, hey, as long as I have the same tools as you, I can defend with a similar sort of army. He's actually made a lot of Zerglings right now. 22 to 24. It's going to be almost identical on the Zergling count. He pushes back the Overlord. The Zerglings flood out. They wait until the Overlord's dead. They do start to flood out. Lambo floods out at the same moment. SERRAL sees the Ling flood. Lambo does not. Lambo does not know about the Ling flood. SERRAL's going to try and trap him on this ramp. SERRAL's thinking about trapping him. No, the Lings do come around from this side. The Queens are there. Lambo wisely pulls back. Lambo is going for +1 range lair behind it. 38 drones for Lambo, 35 for SERRAL. Small worker advantage to the German Zerg. Keep in mind, these guys do have history, guys. They played a grand finals in 2019, which... Was it 2019 or 2020? One of those years where SERRAL managed to beat him 4-3. Arguably, Lambo mismicroed a few times. Accidental move command instead of a move a few times in the final fights, which lost it for him. This fight pretty even, but the queens get caught out on the other side, and that's where Lambo's going to take a big walloping. These are his only 2 queens right now. He's going to lose both of them and a drone on that third base. He's built a lot of drones. He is way up in workers, but losing these, guess what? He's down 20 Zerglings. SERRAL, if he wins this Ling fight, he wins the game. Lambo needs to calm down. SERRAL is in such a weird position. SERRAL's carapace, when it kicks in, he is going to just overwhelm with massive numbers of Zerglings. But the roaches are coming out. Can Lambo survive on this third base? SERRAL's trying to bait him into a bad fight. He's trying to bait him into a bad fight. SERRAL is massively overcommitted to Zerglings. He's not achieved much damage. He's got 2 queen kills, which of course puts him ahead in the units lost, but that is not enough just yet. Lambo is ahead on roach speed. He's ahead on +1 range. Lambo's in a really good spot. Keep in mind, +1 range is not as big as +2. If you've both got carapace Zerglings and there's still a lot of Lings left over, carapace will cancel out the +1 range attack. So in roach versus Zergling, it effectively does nothing. But once you get to +2, then you're going to go down from 3-shotting to 2-shotting the Zergling. So if there's an immediate +2 upgrade here for Lambo, that's the timing. That could be an absolute punishing game winner. SERRAL, uncharacteristic miss macro there. 7 overlords building at once. It's not a huge miss macro. I think he's just making sure. Oh, Lambo gets in there. Snipes a drone. Nice. Overseer for SERRAL. Sees that there's more drones on that third. He knows he's behind economically. And he's looping his Zerglings around this left side of the map. +2 does start up promptly for Lambo. Now, does Lambo have an Overseer? Because contaminating your opponent's upgrades is huge. And Spire for Lambo as well. I think SERRAL just got a Zergling in there, by the way. Looks like he got a Ling in, looped around, and then as it died, just afterwards, the Spire goes down. Overseer comes forward. It's been dropping Changelings, though, so it doesn't have much energy. There are now 3 queens back up for Lambo, and they are injecting. Roaches poke forward for SERRAL. That's about as flaccid of a roach pusher as I've seen in a while. Just posturing, trying to get a reaction more than anything else. And now SERRAL's going to go for a roach drop as well as a second Overseer. Roach drop's a good move normally, but in this game, it's going to hit. Mutas will be popping maybe 20 seconds after that roach drop hits, maybe even earlier. And that means the roach drop will get shut down. +2 on the way. But of course, there's that delay of about 50 seconds. 50-second upgrade advantage is big. 5 more drones for Lambo. Now that's interesting. He will saturate 3 bases and take a 4th. I think the where you win this game, it's not with heavy muta. It's with mass roach. But Lambo, if he spends enough gas on the mutalisks, Ravage account's a little low, could be bad. Oh, his Lings get isolated. SERRAL's being very annoying with his Zerglings. Really like the micro here for SERRAL. This is a situation where if you think of Lambo as, I'd say, the less mechanical player, just having a lot of fast units on the map is going to allow you to dance with Lambo and force mistakes out of him. And you can see, look at how clean SERRAL is. He pulls him out of position, denies the 4th base, gets in the main and the natural. These units were going to scale terribly once +2 range finished. But he gets in, gets mining time denied. He's fully pulled off gas. He scouts the Spire there. He gets 7-8 drone kills, pulls Lambo's attention home. Is this a game-winning move? No, but it's a very annoying move. And it's also really nice because it tells him, oh, send that Overlord home. Don't send the Overlord in. I know there's Mutalisk coming now. This is just such a great way to trade these Zerglings out in this game. And he's going to be going into Hydras. The Mutas have not really found big damage yet. They're going to go in, pick off an Overlord, maybe try and go for a Ravager or something like that. It looks like just a few Overlords for now for Lambo. Lambo knows he's in a good spot, but actually closing the game down and closing the game out against SERRAL, very tricky. He doesn't have any Ravagers as well. Ravagers are usually huge, but he spent a lot of gas on these. Love to see Lambo build 2 or 3 more Overlords here so he can finish maxing out. Yeah, not quite being able to max here is quite frustrating because that tempo lead that he has should allow him to hit a sharper max. He should be morphing Ravagers and committing to the fight right now. But guess what? He's getting distracted. SERRAL is right now tricking Lambo out of committing to the +2 timing. That combined with that little supply block, that is huge. These Zerglings right now, they're giving up the middle finger over their shoulder. You can hear them. Your sister's fat. You're a stupid head. You got a dumb looking face. You know, basically anything they can do to distract SERRAL's army, or Lambo's army, I should say. And now SERRAL has time to close the gap. The upgrade advantage is gone. So they're both on even upgrades, but you've got Hydras in the mix, which is a better, like, kind of strong backline damage unit. Ravage account's really good for Lambo, but remember, he's also got a lot of Mutalisks that won't help in the frontal fight. So now it's just a big maxed out battle, and it's kind of reset into a very even match. Micro's going to matter more than anything else. Biles coming in for Lambo. Lambo's got a good concave, but his fourth base is isolated. The Mutas not taking part in this fight. I'd love to see those Mutas clean up the reinforce. Yeah, that's where Mutas do their best work, is on the rally. The Roach Ravager moving in and out. Lambo's micro is pretty good, but he's going to lose this middle hatchery, while SERRAL still has a fourth up behind this. Great micro for SERRAL, who's still got his Hydras behind this. Lambo's army trying to shimmy in and out. He doesn't want to stand and swing. Hydras have much better damage output, but it's the corrosive biles intermittently that, of course, punish their lack of mobility. +2 carapace coming in for both sides. Still no Hydras, no sign of infestation or anything for Lambo. SERRAL's up 7 workers, and he lands a few big biles. Hydras are going to catch the Mutalisks on the backside. He's still got enough Mutalisks to one-shot drones, so I think it's not too bad to lose a few of those. And I think Lambo at this point might swap into just nothing but Roach Ravager mode and basically play this as an all-in for the next few minutes. I think it's a good call. Unfortunately for him, Tunneling Claws has kicked in, and SERRAL is now sliding out to that right side of this map. Roach Ravager Hydra comes in. Roach Ravager count for Lambo is not bad, but he doesn't have the army supply to really push through. And being behind on economy, this is what SERRAL wants. Small trades spread out over a long period of time. Already almost 3,000 ahead in the units lost. These Roaches pop up behind. SERRAL trying to ambush this army in the middle as well. SERRAL is going to try and pull back and heal his Roaches if he can. These Roaches doing big damage behind it. And Lambo, he's just in a multitasking war that's incredibly tough to win against Yona. 16 worker advantage. As I said, he's going to swap to all-in mode as Lambo. Lambo knows that it's very hard to deal with someone as good as SERRAL. Like, SERRAL's so good at the multitasking and the technical engagements. But if you replace your drones with more army, maybe you can get enough units to take one big, decisive, crushing engagement. But he's supply blocked again. He's not quite able to max. The Roaches are buying bits of time. And SERRAL's just going to keep chipping at him. SERRAL just wants a series of small skirmishes where he can utilize his micro. Lambo wants one big crushing engage, which is why he's bringing those Roaches and Ravagers around the right. He wants to sandwich this army. If he can sandwich the army with a big army supply lead, he can maybe crush it. But SERRAL sees that his army is too small. SERRAL's pattern recognition so good. He's just like, that army's too small. Where'd the rest of your army go? Lambo was trying to set up a big surround, but he's not given the time to do it. And SERRAL's already cleaned up a lot of his army. Now the surround comes in. Can it salvage this game? It's so tough right now for Lambo. But those Hydras and Ravagers, very, very fragile units. I can't believe SERRAL got so many of those out of there. That's crazy how many Hydras he saved. Most players would have lost every Hydra there and then been in a much closer position. As it is, 40 supply lead. Roaches are in the main. And you could just see here, man, that SERRAL showing that ability to just cockroach his way out of just about any game. Doesn't give up. And I think those Zerglings, keeping them alive for as long as he did and finding that delayed damage was such a big part of just taking Lambo's confidence away and removing his timings. Look at this beautiful arc for SERRAL coming in. A huge battle line, trying to dodge Biles. He's even got Roaches on the bottom side, starting to collapse Lambo's concave. Lambo putting up a good effort. That was a very close game. Lambo definitely had a little bit of a lead at a few points. I do wonder if Mutalisks were the right call. Part of me wonders, and this is something I often do wonder, is would it have just been better for him to go for a pure Roach timing in a game like this? Because if you are, that's your most confident kind of area, I always feel like if you can go for a pure Roach timing, it's a bit easier to just finish the game. Mutas, I think, are really good for denying your opponent's map vision, building an advantage, forcing a response. I'm not sure. Perhaps, like sometimes you'll go Mutas, they go Hydras, you hit them with a Roach Bane all in, but it's really tricky. Sometimes just commit. If he went all out on +2 range with a max Roach timing, didn't bother with the Mutas at all, I wonder if he could have, like SERRAL would have really struggled with that, I think. Either way, great game one for SERRAL. All right, guys, we've got SERRAL in the bottom left side of the map, Lambo in the bottom right. Going to be Rorschach, a map where, of course, most of the fighting happens on this bottom path. There is a healing shrine in the middle, which may or may not matter in this map. And there is also some nice little drop paths into the main. These sorts of maps do sometimes feature Nidus Worms and the like, but more often than not, you're going to be seeing units just assaulting each other's natural, pushing through this bottom path. I very much doubt the gold base in the top, especially with only 6 mineral patches on it, is going to get taken. I kind of feel like gold bases like this, if it's going to be in such an awkward position, you might as well give it at least 8 mineral patches, so it's the same as a normal base. Then again, you do have an 8 mineral patch here, with 4 gold, 4 blue, which is arguably better than the 6 gold minerals. It's a Rorschach. Rorschach. Yeah. So for those who don't know, basically, the early explorers in the ocean, so they didn't actually realize when they first saw a shark, they thought it looked like a lion. And then one of them, you know, they saw it basically eat a fish, and they went, whoa, that's really impressive. This clearly must be the king of the ocean, much like the lion is the king of the jungle. So they actually nicknamed the original sharks Rorschachs because of that. And then, yeah, over time, they decided to name psychological things and characters from comic books after it as well. So if you guys want any more real knowledge about words and etymology, definitely come to my channel to learn real, not fake news about how the world exists. We'll be doing a TED talk about how nuclear power works later today as well, so stop by for that. This is a pull first for SERRAL. He's playing incredibly safe. Now, the question is, guys, if you're going to play super safe, pull first every game, and just put yourself behind, isn't this a suboptimal way of playing? Well, there's a couple of questions there. First of all, does it really put you behind, and in what regard? Right now, looks like he's about half a drone or so behind. But 3 drones building right now. Ling speed starting just a second or two earlier for Lambo. Lambo's pulled 2 off gas. SERRAL's pulled 2 off gas. They're both going for 2 queens. No one's built a 3rd queen yet. The extra Overlord's building a little bit earlier for SERRAL. Does feel like he's 1 to 2 drones behind. I haven't really calculated the difference between a pool first and a hatchery first on this patch, and with the 8 workers and the mineral change and all that, but does look like it's maybe about 2 workers behind. Then, as I say that, but look, now the injects start coming in earlier, and then he overtakes. So he's at some points even 3 drones behind in the early stages, but then his first injects come in earlier, and then he takes a small lead. So I'm not sure what the overall tally is. Nice move for Lambo. Guys, he's going to get the Overlord down here. He commits a queen very far out, though, which means he's at 30 energy. He's not injecting his hatchery right now. So if you do commit that, he's injecting his main is late, injecting the natural incredibly late, to the point where he probably puts a creep tumor down and injects at the same time. Is this worth it? Well, it limits SERRAL's vision. Right now, Lings could be flooding out on this south path. SERRAL wouldn't know about it. SERRAL's going to build 6 Zerglings and a safety Baneling Nest. Meanwhile, Evo Chamber Roach Warren in the wall off for Lambo. SERRAL did look pretty frustrated at losing that Overlord. The hole in his vision going to make him very uncomfortable. He's making 4 Banelings. He drops an Evo Chamber. No, he cancels it. Builds a Roach Warren. Carapace is on the way here for Lambo. He's got some Lings targeting this 3rd. It's an 18 Zergling pressure. It's a pretty light commitment here for Lambo. But I like that Lambo skipped the Baneling Nest. I think even just forcing the Banelings to morph here is enough of a win. And Lambo just needs to keep his Lings alive. He should not be committing this much. You've made SERRAL make 6 Banelings. You've actually traded positively here as well. Of course, part of that is the Overlord. And now you've got Roaches. And actually, he's built more Zerglings. Oh, okay. Thought he'd drone up behind this. He's building 6 Roaches and more Zerglings. Interesting. Lambo feels like he's incredibly committed here. Oh, nice. Manual detonation for SERRAL. Gets 5 or 6 Zerglings. He's also hiding Lings down the bottom. He's going to wait for Lambo to overcommit to something, and then he's going to make a play. You know what's interesting, guys? SERRAL hasn't shimmied his Overlords. Normally, you'd shimmy an Overlord down here. You'd pull this Overlord back to compensate. But SERRAL's just decided to keep vision on the south with his active army units. Ling runs in, sees no drones on the 3rd. Let's go to SERRAL's vision. He immediately cancels his Evo Chamber, goes for a Spine Crawler on the front because he is aware that Lambo is all in. Lambo's going for a Baneling Nest. He's going to be going for a Roachling Bane. 33 drone all-in attack. But I think with SERRAL scouting, seeing this so early, I just don't think it can work. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it feels like a 12 worker advantage. Yes, it's a lot. But is it a lot if you've got this much time to prepare and start turning those drones into extra defenses? It's like the Lings here of SERRAL winning the fight up north as well. Up 15 workers in this game. Lambo committing to a rather decisive attack. Those Lings will come back in. The Queen should be able to defend. Unfortunately, those 2 drones did get misclicked. Small mistake there for Lambo. He does correct it. Same time, Lings coming forward. Roaches count is up to 15. Only 10 for SERRAL, but by the time he gets there, SERRAL's got 6 more roaches on the way. Roaches don't take that long to build, guys. It's like, what, 16? 19. 19 seconds for a roach to build. They do pump out incredibly fast. A beautiful spread of units, plenty of banelings defensively. A spine crawler with 7 range and 30 damage a shot versus armored as well. SERRAL picking off drones behind it, putting even more pressure on LAMBO. LAMBO's going to try and get his banelings onto the banelings of SERRAL. SERRAL pulls them back. His own banelings now come forward to keep the enemy's Zerglings away. Good spready on the banelings at first. Oh, nice reactive micro here by SERRAL. The Lings go south for LAMBO, which is the correct move. But SERRAL just had too much time to prepare. That scout on the third base was diabolical. It was deadly, and it was just enough. He's up 20 workers, pulling the drones now. As long as there's no enemy banelings, drones, you could pull them to tank a bit, and then, of course, the drones can go back to mine now. Losing 5 workers, totally fine. He could have lost 20 drones and still been okay. LAMBO does have carapace, so he's got a tech advantage in that regard, but when you're down 15 workers, of course, that's not going to be enough. Very good hold here for SERRAL. And you can see SERRAL getting so much CVZ practice in the last 2 weeks. And I think his level's getting stronger and stronger game to game. You can tell he's really locking in. Ravagerling comes in. Nice little surround. None of the biles can land, though. And that's going to be a nice cleanup. Game 2 goes there for SERRAL. And a convincing 2-0. Alright, guys. We've got SHIN in the top right side of the map. Rogue in the bottom left. And it is going to be AZVZ. Shin Hebyom is Shin's name. Ragnarok, as he was known for many years. Good timing attacks, good build orders, optimized play, but also off-meta builds. He's one of the guys who would do a 14 pool before Overlord, right? He would do these weird build orders that weren't super committed aggression. They were kind of medium aggression, and he'd kind of mess the game up and catch you with these surprising follow-ups. Also, he's speed mining. He was shift-clicking his workers there to make them mine a little bit quicker, so very detail-oriented in his opening, and he's just going to be working his way forwards. Now, Rogue in the bottom left has been crazy lately. Oh, man. 3 hatcheries before pool, crazy upgrade rushes, all sorts of weird build orders. But that's especially against SERRAL. Now, the question is, does he feel favored against SHIN and changes from ultra greed and crazy builds to more safety? Looks like that might be the case. He goes pool first. It's actually SHIN who goes hatchery first. And this does give SHIN an early lead. SHIN will be mining more by having more workers out of this. There'll be usually a moment, though, where the first inject pick kicks in earlier, and that's where Rogue will usually take a worker lead. Pool first build working out that way. Often pool first ends up with a slightly slower gas, but we'll see how it goes. So hatchery goes down, and who's going to take that gas first? Looks like Shin's just going to rally his drone to take the gas. And a Rogue... Oh. Rogue, are you 3 hatchery before pooling, mate? Nate? No? Okay, he does also build a gas just a few seconds later. Rogue's been doing a lot of 3 hatchery before pool recently, with limited success against SERRAL, at least, is calling him out for some very greedy build orders. Can't wait to see, though, what they've got in store. He's been the king of Mutalisks, has Rogue, even remaxing on Mutalisks in this matchup, a formerly unheard of measure. Ultralisks and all that sort of stuff as well, but that's if he gets there, and that's when Rogue's kind of flipping coins and playing dangerous. And I think playing against SHIN, we might just see the version of Rogue that basically just sits there and plays a safe defensive macro game. Because Shin's such a timing attack focused player, and Shin, as good as he is, I don't think of him as a guy who's kind of intuitively reacting on the fly. I think of him as someone who shows up to a series with very well prepared build orders. But I think Rogue probably feels like he's the more flexible player. And if he can sniff out what Shin's up to, he can block that, play a reactive style, get ahead. Whereas you see him against SERRAL, and Rogue's just playing crazy build orders from the start. There we go. Ling's going forwards right now. He's going to walk in towards the natural. The queen is there. The Zerglings poke in, and they poke out. Ling speed's on the way. Drone's going to move towards the front third base. Baneley Nest does go down behind this. So Shin, he's got the safety Baneley Nest. Rogue does not. Rogue floating a lot of gas right now, in fact. Looks like he's going to go for a quick lair. 3 queens, already a sign of a defensive build order. And this does look like 2 base Mutalisk for Rogue. Shin, does he make that read? A lot of players would cancel the Baneley Nest. Because if he's on 2 base playing 3 queens, there's no way he's Ling flooding you with 3 queens. He's probably not going early carapace. I think canceling the Baneley Nest is the correct move, personally. Rogue's going to move out and deny this Overlord. Shin is building a few Lings and Banes. Shin's actually playing shockingly safe right now. I thought we'd see him play a bit more out there rather than so conservative as the Overlord pollutes that already polluted fountain. Do not drink from the fountain, guys. Evo Chamber, Roachhorn, and Lair almost finished for Rogue. Shin building 12 Zerglings, letting the Baneley Nest finish. Very middle of the road for Shin. He'll have a faster third hatchery, but he's behind on the mining quite significantly here, being down 5 or 6 workers. He's not got any tech in the way. He's building another 4 Zerglings. And only now does the Evolution Chamber go down. This is not what I was expecting. I really thought Shin would be the player who'd be committing to build orders confidently, and Rogue would be the guy playing a bit more adaptive. And yet it's the opposite. Shin's like, I'll get Ling Speed and Baneley Nest for safety. I'll scout what you're doing, take a third, and then I'll tech on up from there. Trying to poke in the main with the Overlord to scout, but Rogue sees it coming, pushes it back. The Overlord should survive just barely. Gets out of there with about 30 hit points. Roaches are building. Carapace, whoa! 2 base, 1/1 upgrade on 4 gas. This is normally a really bad build at high level because it's so inflexible. But it's so it's actually quite unexpected because it's so rare. It becomes quite a strong build, I think, simply because no one does it. Most players are thinking, oh gosh, like if they're in Shin's shoes, like, is there a Nidus Worm? Is it a 35 drone timing? Is it a 40 drone 3 gas timing? The last thing you're expecting is someone to go almost to 50 workers, double upgrades, take a third, and basically just macro out of the 2 base setup. Shin does go for a Spire though. Sees a lot of roaches, but they're all chilling at home. And does he have his own Roach Warren? He's not. He's going Carapace. That's going to try and, of course, deny the +1 advantage of the Roaches. I really worry about his Spire timing, though. I feel like with how generic Shin's played, if Rogue commits with a Roach speed timing, if he builds nothing but Roaches and goes, I think he can kill Shin or at least do big damage. Shin building plenty of Zerglings. He's going to try and, of course, counterattack if the Roaches move out. Keep him pinned at home. It's the name of the game. Shin does not have vision of the front of the base, though. Remember, his Overlord got sniped earlier. And the fact that he can't see exactly what's happening is very scary. And Rogue's going to play for the Nidus Worm. He sees a lot of Zerglings. His Overseer has come in. He sees the Spire. And oh no, Shin's map awareness. Doesn't even realize there's a Changeling in his natural. Does not bode well for him stopping the Nidus Worm. Roach attack is moving forwards. Third hatchery will get killed here. A few Roaches are going to come out to try and defend. There's plenty of Zerglings. If he can stop the Nidus Worm, of course, he'd be okay. But like I said, 9 Mutalisks. They're only now starting. Roach speed is done. +1 range is done. Third hatch goes down. Lings are returning home to try and defend this. Nidus Worm's coming up. Is it worth just tanking the Roach hits and going for the Nidus? I think it's the right call. Shin cannot let that Nidus Worm get up. He clicks every single Zergling on it. But man, it takes so many hits to kill. Nidus Worms are quite tanky. Oh my lord, he loses every single Zergling just to kill the Nidus Worm. Oh my lord. Roaches jumping in. The drones and queens are taking a lot of damage. Roaches over there as well. Huge stuff. No spine crawlers. Extreme greed. I think this was just way too greedy for Shin, not gonna lie. The fact that he did such a generic build, lots of Zerglings, Baneley Nest, didn't get any value out of it, and then just went to Mutalisks. He was really too middle of the road against a Rogue who just like 2-based, got his 1/1 upgrades, went for the decisive shove, went for the Nidus Worm to reinforce. It's I would say decisive against reactive, and I think in this case the decisive play does win out. Guys, yes, he did bring 4 drones and started building spore crawlers here as well. Shin has to GG out. But a little dicey, like I said, when he saw that there was 3 queens and it was kind of a sign of one of these 2-base plays, not canceling the Baneley Nest was a bit of an odd choice. I think when you're playing against someone as good as Rogue, you need to take every edge that you can possibly get. And then to build 12 Zerglings, which didn't really achieve anything, as well as a Baneley Nest, I think just put Shin a little bit behind. To go Mutas from there, which is of course very slow payoff. So you've gone Lings, Banes, third base, all delaying your Lair and Spire. I don't think you can rely on Mutalisks very well there. GG's though, great game 1 for Rogue. Alright guys, Rogue in the top left side of the map, Shin in the bottom right side, it's Old Sun Temple. And this is a big 4-player map. Now, it's technically not 4 spawns. You cannot spawn vertically from each other. Only horizontally or cross map. And this is cross map. This is the biggest spawn. If you're ever going to play either mass upgraded Zergling or Mutalisks, this is the time to do it. It's really, really, really good. Pool? Oh my. So Shin's going for a pool. I feel like... I get it, you're playing Rogue. He might just all in on the 4-player map. We'll see, though. How conservative is Shin is with this? You know, we did see Rogue try some 3-hatch before pool on 2 base the other day. I think if you build the 3rd hatchery in the wall off, that is a cute build. Let's see what he does with this first drone he builds. He rallies to the gas. So Shin is going to take a gas afterwards. Rogue has gone hatch first, but it's hatch gas pool. He's going to have a very crisp link speed. I don't know. Do you guys know the exact game time? I haven't learned all the game time. I think if you go hatch gas pool, link speed kicks in. Is it 350, 355? Does anyone know the exact timing in chat? You guys let me know. I think it's just before 4 minutes, because I was playing a game and my adepts, I chronoed 2 adepts today, and they got surrounded before 4 minutes. And I was like, what? How's link speed finished? And then I realized, oh yeah, if they pull 3 workers off minerals onto gas and go gas before pool, it's actually not too bad a timing. Queen is building here for Shin, of course, much faster, which you're going to see he's down on workers, but his injects are going to kick in much faster. So there's kind of that to and fro with the economy. You're down 2, sometimes 3 drones, and then you'll take a lead about 24, 25 to 28 drones ahead of Rogue. What I'm worried about is that link speed timing and what Rogue does with this. Oh, he's not pulling off. I thought this was going to be Rogue basically pulling off 2 workers, droning hard, doing a wave of Zerglings with his first lava inject, and then just going for like a super streamlined follow-up. But the fact that he stayed on Bailey Nest makes me wonder if he's just going to... Or on gas, sorry. Makes me wonder if he's just going to build a Bailey Nest and go off of, what, 25 workers? 27 workers? Something like that. Don't even bother with a 3rd hatchery. It's not injecting. That's a defensive queen. And he goes for the Bailey Nest in the back, but it's a defensive queen. No, it's not. He does inject now. He just missed it. Okay, that was a mistake. And we see why he made that mistake. It's because his Overlord went too deep, and Shin says, what are you doing watching my drones? What are you doing here? Of course, guys, when a creepy guy in a hot air balloon... Oh, no! Oh, we let it get away. Shin misplay. That's a big misplay, guys. Letting that Overlord get away. I was going to say, when a guy in a trench coat in an Overlord sipping tea, watching you through a spyglass, watching your workers comes in, you got to punish that. You can't let him get away with that. That's very weird. Mass Ling Bane coming in. So it's a 24 drone Ling Bane timing. Shin, of course, playing a gasless, lair expand. He's got great Overlord vision. He's got plenty of time to wall off. He sees 2 Zerglings come out. Is that suspicious? I don't think so. I think that looks like a defensive Lings. Now he sees it. And he's already got a few Evos, but he needs to kill this creep chamber right now. Yeah, Evo chamber in the front. Oh, he's gonna... No. This is an all-in. Shin, you need a full wall. Shin, you need a full wall. You can't wall behind that queen. Oh, God, we're about to see a 2-0, I think, guys. He's building gases. Shin thinks it's a light pressure. He does not realize the depravity of Rogue. Rogue going hard. He says, go hard or go home. And these 2 queens, that's his ranged damage output. It's about to go down on the outside. He brings another Evo chamber in here. If he had all 3 queens behind the wall, it's an easy hold. But as it is, I think he'll be overrun. He needs to build roaches now. The roach horn will go down. He starts 4 roaches. He needs to make as many roaches as he can before the roach horn goes down. But he also needs to wall off. Luckily, there's no banelings here. He needs to send a drone through and wall off behind this so the reinforcement can't get in. Honestly, I think it might be a hold anyway. Cross map is a very slow reinforcement. And even though Shin played greedy here, he holds. The wall off is up. Yes, the roach horn will go down. But Rogue massively committed there. Shin holds on, and I'm very happy, guys, because it's been, honestly, it's been a racing start to the day. He cancels the Evo, and when he builds the Roach Horn, it dies. Well, that was a little greedy there, Shin. I get he didn't want to wall himself in with Evos, and you know what? 150 minerals is not the worst price to pay there. It does go Carapace now as well, but Shin's still up in the workers, and his lair's finished. Carapace starts here for Rogue as well. Man, everyone's loving that Carapace. And obviously, until it's pure Roach versus pure Roach, Carapace is just an amazing upgrade, right? Because it helps the Lings, helps the Roaches, and of course, it counteracts the enemy's +1 in the Roach versus Zergling interaction. Later on, +2 attack is obviously way more important than Carapace. And in Roach versus Roach, even +1 attack is more important because +1 attack, this actually gives you +2 damage. Carapace is only going to negate 1 of that. Of course, a complete cancelling out in effectiveness, time to kill, shots to kill, with Zergling versus Roach, but in Roach versus Roach, it actually has an impact. can see the resources lost here is in favor of SHIN, and SHIN was mining with a lot more workers for quite a bit there. Third base coming up. Rogue is a wizard, so if you guys are yes! Oh my, I was going to say, if you guys don't think he can come back from here, he knows he just has to gamble. And he's going to go mass Zergling. If there was ever a map for it, this is it. Now, he should take a quick fourth and a macro hatch, or he's not going to be able to spend his lava. He's going to stay single gas and just go mass up. Wait, what? But he's dropping a roach horn. Hold on. Rogue, what is this? He's not taking extra gases. Things are trying to get in right now. Queen of the Wall damaged. He forces another building to go down, but actually, no, it gets blocked, so SHIN has time to stop that beginning in the first place. Roach counter solid. Nidus Worm on the way. SHIN wants to finish this in the easiest possible way, so he's going to go 1-1 Roach speed timing, shove across the map, give up his third if he has to, drop a Nidus Worm to reinforce, and look for the win. And it is indeed 1-1 Roach here for Rogue, but Rogue has no gas, so his Roach, he can't... He's only on 2 gases now. The Nidus Worm's already coming. Oh god, he sees it! He does see it! His whole army's pulling back! SHIN giving away the whole idea from very early. Is this gonna work out? He starts popping roaches. Oh my gosh, I think that's enough roaches to secure the position. Indeed it is. It actually works out because he saw all the lings were deep on his side of the map. SHIN is gonna shove in right now. He's got 24 roaches. Rogue's trying to build spine crawlers. Like I said, he just doesn't have any gas. I thought he was going to go mass Zergling there and just play like a really fun gimmicky style to get back in the game. Kind of base traded out, that sort of thing. But he tries to go into roaches, does not have time to get there. And SHIN, you know what I'm impressed with? As much as I made fun of SHIN's response, or criticized it, I should say, for, you know, letting the queens die and stuff. If it was a light pressure, it was the perfect response. It ended up being incredibly dangerous because it was like a committed all in. But he's able to overwhelm now, pushes through. Surely this is enough. Yeah, there's no way Rogue can defend that. He's down in workers. The Nidus is reinforcing. But as I said, I mean, it's such a hard situation, that one, where so many players, they're so afraid of these sorts of all-ins that they way overreact. And I think for SHIN, he goes, yeah, well, it might just be 15 Zerglings. I don't know. So he starts reacting in a kind of chilled out way. I think seeing how many lings he saw, if he realized that, he probably should have realized just full wall it straight away. But he does the very light response, the more agile response, which is, of course, way better if it is just a light pressure. Ends up putting him in trouble. But now when his emergency reaction kicks in, he manages to stabilize. And that's an incredibly dangerous spot, man. So many players would have died here. Really, really good. Just clutch hold for SHIN. All right, guys, this series will be decided on Sanctuary. A fantastic map, but also one where aggression is going to hit hard. I wonder if anyone's going to gamble super hard on trying to win this. SHIN, of course, here. Mrs. Daddy Dark, just like the rest of us. Dark will be back in a few months, but I love that he's got Dark as his clan picture here for... I guess, actually, isn't that just the clan picture? They just have Dark as the on-side picture, then. Oh, that's cool. Down here in the bottom left, Rogue. No logo being wrapped next to his hatchery. And it's going to be a standard opening so far for both sides. We haven't seen a lot of early pool shenanigans. I've heard that there are early pools that can do very well against hatch first. But we haven't seen people going hatch first at a high enough frequency, I think, to where people feel good about flipping the coin. Because it is meant to do quite poorly against pool first. I think on some of the bigger maps, the fact that the Overlord takes so long to get across the map, even against pool first, I think you can do good damage with an early pool. But it's obviously very knife's edge, very tight. And as a result, we are going to see SHIN here. Hatch first, pool first for Rogue. Rogue playing a little bit safer. I wonder if Rogue is going to wall off. This is a fantastic map to wall off. This could very well... You know, we haven't seen many Mutalisk wars this patch. We've seen a lot of Mutalisks against Roaches, but if I think about this map, it's a map that's very friendly for wall-offs with a Roach Horn and an Evo Chamber. A lot of pro players love to go Mutalisks while kind of pretending to commit to Roaches in that scenario. I kind of see this as being the sort of game where there's a possibility that it does go into a Mutalisk war. Gas goes down at almost identical timing for both sides. I've never seen a best of 9 in a tournament. True battle of attrition. Oh, you should check out some of our past finals. If you guys haven't watched previous PiGFests, we get some of the most epic best of 7s and epic best of 9s. We really like the room because StarCraft series is so brutal, and don't be wrong, the tournament starts off here with best of 3s, which are brutal. They could be over in the blink of an eye, right? But we like there to be that room for players to recover and crawl their way back into series and that sort of thing. And I think players do get very experimental in these tournaments, specifically because of the extra maps that they can spare. And you're more willing to gamble on a crazy build here or there in a best of 7 or a best of 9 as opposed to a best of 3. This is once again Evo Chamber before Ling Speed. It's a great build order for Rogue. It's what he's been using a lot recently. And I don't think we saw it in this series, right? But I believe Lambo did this against SERRAL just before, didn't he? So this is a build order where I think in theory, what is the best counter to this build order? I mean, it's probably just taking an economic lead, right? There's no Ling Speed. The advantage of it is, well, you don't know that Rogue skipped Ling Speed. Players tend to continue to just play safe. And actually, Shin does look like he's just going to wall off. I think a 2-base wall-off build's pretty decent against this, right? If you just go up into kind of 2-base Roach wall-off or even wall-off and then just go for Mutalisks, that's pretty good. Keep in mind, upgraded Zerglings are a soft counter to Mutalisks. It's a very soft counter since they don't kill the Mutalisks themselves. But if you've got upgraded Zerglings, you can kind of avoid the Mutalisks. They can never keep up with your Zerglings. You can deny third bases, you can counterattack in, and you can sometimes find some really good damage. But, Overlord snipe there for Rogue. You gotta be really wary. Overlords are a little bit slower than they were pre-patch. And as a result, we are seeing players able to snipe them just that little bit easier than they could before. And you could already snipe the Overlords reasonably consistently if you were willing to build that third queen and give up a little bit of injecting time. Like right now, Rogue pushes that Overlord away, but he doesn't want to give up injecting time. He's already missed 10 energy. 10 energy late on that inject. Now, +1 range is coming in at a really good timing. This looks like a 3-gas Roach build. Roach speed as well. Remember, no 4th gas. None of this crazy Rogue 48 drones, carapace as well. This is going to be more of a streamlined, okay, I'll go take a third, build some Roaches. And I think the Lings should be able to deny the third base. If Rogue can deny the third, get his own delayed third up as well, I think he's in a pretty good spot. Just depends what his follow-up is. As the Roach Horn goes down, 2nd and 3rd gas. Overseer's going to come in. Sees that lair is on the way. Sees a drone popping out. But now, more importantly, he sees the Lings flooding through the middle. He's going to move out the front here, but with only 2 Roaches and a Queen, you don't want to get these units surrounded. Oh, Shin's going to try and defend the third. And Rogue doesn't know how many more Roaches are about to pop out, so I think just grabbing the third hatchery, killing the drone, running away is definitely a safe way to play it. Overseer's gone through, has seen a 2nd and 3rd gas and a Roach Horn. Now, you could look at this and think, oh, it could be Ravager Ling, but I think seeing that lair, it's highly unlikely that Rogue goes all out on a Ravager Ling attack. So I think Shin here is just going to maybe pressure a little bit with Roaches, probably not commit to anything. And I would expect more drones on that production tab any moment now. But no, it's more Roaches. Oh, hello. So Shin here, I mean, he's got Carapace on the way. His +1 range is done. He's not going to be able to afford +2. And +2 Carapace is actually already starting for Rogue. Rogue's being greedy on the upgrades. Queen does take out one of Shin's Overlords. They've both lost an Overlord. Shin's lost a drone. Rogue has lost 6 Zerglings. See, a drone starts for Shin, but only 1. He's only on 39 workers. Shin's economy a little bit worse for wear. And if this third gets cancelled again, it's going to be a real bummer. Queen does go down. Roaches only take out a couple of Zerglings to make him pay for it. There's very few Roaches at home for Rogue right now. Has he been too greedy, queuing up all these upgrades? The faster Roach speed, +1 timing coming in. Shin looking for revenge. His third base has been denied. He's lost a Queen. He's lost a few other units, but as the Lings come in, you can see the Queens and the Roaches able to let their force be known. The reinforcement for Shin rallies in from a very bad angle, gets a few of his Roaches surrounded, and I think Shin needs to get out of here. That's a good hold for Rogue, who's established the upgrade advantage. +2, not too far behind for Shin. Shin has droned behind this, so he's built a small worker advantage. Units lost tab, it's actually in favor of Shin, so I think as the dust settles, we're going to go into a very even Roach v Roach game. And there's going to be a big question about, does someone go Mutalisks? Well, okay, yeah. Rogue, can you give me a commentator request? Can you just let me finish the question, please, before answering it? He drops a Spire as I ask the question. Rogue not happy to just sit there massing Roaches with his opponent. He's much more dynamic. He likes asymmetry. And you can see he's threatening with Roaches. He's actually got a way smaller Roach army. He just likes running around and kind of keeping his opponent guessing. Droning hard behind this. And I wonder if he takes a 4th if he goes up north, because sometimes expanding along the edge of the map away from your opponent is better if you're playing Mutalisks, where map control is going to be your friend and creating as much distance between you and the opponent as is possible. Ooh, nice Contaminate for Rogue, denying the +2, which is, of course, so far ahead for Shin here. And Shin is frozen on 50 drones, by the way, guys. He's most likely going all in on this roach timing with that +2 attack, which is 30 seconds away from when this finishes. 32 seconds. So 30 seconds from now, 8.5 minutes. By that time, Mutalisks will be out, but in small enough numbers, and against +1 Carapace Roaches, this could be a very scary attack. Shin is up 30 army supply, but, oh my god, his Ravagers are going to get surrounded. Oh my god, this is really bad. Ravagers are expensive, but they do have good upgrades, and they are, only one does actually die, so that's not too bad. Quite a few things do get traded for that. Mutalisks are coming to Mutas. We'll focus the Ravagers down. Oh, Hail Mary Biles! My lord, Shin throws a baseball at a helicopter, somehow gets it in the tail rotor, and the helicopter crashes. That is insanity. You gotta feel like a superhero when you pull off a move like that. The Roach Ravager coming in, but the Mutas are here. He's got to get a move on. He's got to get a move on. Oh, great defensive bile there for Rogue, but one of Rogue's Ravagers has already gone down. I like the way Shin is just shoving. He's got that +2 range advantage. Yes, Carapace is finished on +2 for Rogue, but the Mutas just don't have time to pop out. Rogue is a man who loves to be greedy, and Shin finds that window. That was an incredibly early timing to go to Mutas. They were both in a Roach War on 50 drones. That's a very even game, right? So I think what happened there is Shin went for the simplest path. He went for the most generic, cut on 50 drones. Was it 5 gases? He took a 5th gas. I don't even know if he needed this gas or it was more just to like make it look like he's macroing. 50 drones, hit the Roach timing. You know you've got a +2 advantage, right? To be behind on the range upgrades and drop such an early Spire, it was a greedy play. It was a vibes-based play for Rogue. And honestly, if Shin's timing was 20 seconds later, it probably works. But he gets called out there, gets taken out, and Rogue is going to go to the elimination match. Shin is actually the one going to the winners match. GG, well played. All right, guys. Rogue in the bottom left side of the map. Lambo in the top right. And these two have found themselves in the worst possible circumstances. Already just their second best of 3 into the PiGFest main event, and they're in the losers match. Obviously, it's always a tough group, but it is a brutal start to PiGFest. We ramp up from best of 3s, where if you lose 2 in a row, you will be eliminated. But after this, it is all best of 5s for the qualification matches, of course. So winner of this will get a second chance against the loser of the winners match. SERRAL and SHIN over in that winners match. Ooh, they'll be playing right after this. So far, neither player wants to risk a best of 3 on anything too crazy. No early pool shenanigans. And, I mean, I think we've seen pool first about 50% of the time, so it kind of makes sense, right? I think if you get to the point where people are playing hatch first 70, 80%, people suddenly go, ooh, okay, it might be worth gambling on an early pool, you know, go for... I heard some people say, like, 11 pool 10 gas, or 12 is like something like that. And you go slow Zerglings, you make some Banelings, and you know, it's really hard for them to stop with a hatch first. But I'm not too up to date on that. I was hoping I'd learn more about it today with so many Zerg versus Zerg matches, but unfortunately, looks like the matches have gone away where it's a lot about the Carapace. The Mutatech switches have not been as successful. So far, they've been getting punished a fair bit, haven't they? But we'll see what the players can bring out. I think Lambo and Rogue both have played similar styles recently. Early Carapace pushes and trying to overwhelm the opponent. We'll see what happens. Bro, is that medical equipment in Rogue's room? I think that's a kettle, right? At first, that does kind of look like a hospital, like, area behind him, but I think that's a kettle on the left. I don't know. Man needs his hot beverages, his tea and coffee to play his best StarCraft, all right? Oh, no. You show a webcam, people get quite funny on the internet. I will never forget the time when Wax Angel spent literal hours enhancing and zooming in on every single section of my stream backdrop and identifying as many books and things on my shelf as he could. Wrote an entire... There's a Team Liquid thread, Anatomy of a Room, I think is what the thread was called. And it's literally analyzing what he could see in the back of my webcam. And I was like, thank you, Wax Angel. Thank you for staying weird. The internet is for voyeurism, right? Evo Chambers coming up here in the back. Carapace. Yeah. It's only 100, 100. I keep thinking 150, 150, but that 50 gas, 50 mineral saving is so smooth. So, guys, Lambo started pretty standard, right? He's going to go for a nice quick third hatch on 32. Link speed's on the way. And up against the Carapace build. This is going to be really interesting. I wonder if Lambo skips Baneley Nest. He might do a Ling pressure with these 2 lava injects. Yeah, 29 drone. I think he might build about 16 Zerglings. And then just go straight Roach Warren behind it. It's a greedy build. Oh, he's just droning. Even more drones. Never mind, guys. Lambo's just basically like, dude, Rogue is never doing standard Ling Bane pressure. He's always either walling off and rushing Lair or skipping Ling speed and going Carapace. And he got a Zergling in as well. Oh, he even confirmed. I didn't realize he got a Zergling in. Oh, Rogue let the Ling in. And Lambo knows exactly what he's playing against. Oh, so he's going to be able to make defensive Bane, Ling Bane, defend his third. And I think you go... Do you think you go Mutalisks from that? I feel like you go Mutalisks, right? Now, Rogue is going to play second Evo Chamber into a gas. Wow. Is he going to... So far, I keep thinking he's going to play double upgraded Zerglings, but I actually think he's going to go Roach upgrades off this. Lambo is going to go melee. Wow. So he's going to say, well, you never make Banelings with this build. If I make my own Ling Bane and I hit you before you transition Roaches, I could just kill you. Sorry, guys, accidental scoreboard flip there. Rogue does take out an Overlord. Is that... So 2 kills there, 2 Zerglings and an Overlord so far for Rogue. He's going to try and come out with his Zerglings to the surprise of no one. Lambo's already making his Banelings and his own Zerglings and sitting on 35 workers. He's got a third base up. Rogue's is not finished. That being said, Lambo's not really profiting off of the third since he is playing so exceptionally safe. But he's actually ahead on army significantly right now, which is why it does, to me, feel like Lambo is over-droning a little bit. I think he maybe kind of wants Rogue to overcommit, but I think Rogue is sensing that something's up here. And Rogue is going to play upgraded Zergling. I mean, there was a game against SERRAL the other day. Rogue was on, I think, 4 base with 2-2 melee Carapace, still playing Ravager Ling, like 13, 14 minutes into a game. I don't think it ended well for him, but it was cool that he was trying it. Yeah, he's playing mass upgraded Zergling Muta. Oh, Banelings do get some decent hits. They don't quite one-shot, but oh, big wraparound with the Zerglings. It's time for Lambo to go. And Rogue's walled off, but that means his third base is being abandoned. He's going to try and go 2-base Mutalisk. Lambo only on 35 workers, but he's got so many units. He's going to easily kill the third. Honestly, I kind of feel like he could just tear this wall down. Mr. Lambochev, tear down that wall. Honestly, I think he could literally just tank it and click this if he really wants to. It's a bit of a crazy commitment, but there's so much Ling Bane. Is it worth it? Lambo, it's a bit of a dicey commitment, and no, too many Roaches coming out. He's going to think about it. He can't make up his mind. It's the indecisiveness that worries me. I think Lambo's in a pretty good spot, but he's kind of going, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? Ugh. And now he's worried about the Roaches. And look how many Overlords he has on the map. This is a problem. He does not anticipate Mutas coming out this quickly. And if those Mutalisks can grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Overlords, not to mention what else they're going to do, forcing Spore Crawlers and all this sorts of stuff, could be pretty epic. The Overseer was in Pervert mode up there. Sees that, of course, Lambo's got a big economy advantage on the third. Don't get me wrong, Rogue is going to build 5 Mutas and then just do a Roach timing. Lambo basically has to build some Queens, build some Spores, and then get into Roach production very quickly, because the Roach timing is going to be hot on the tails of these first Mutalisks. It is going to be coming across the map very quickly. Lambo's ahead in this game, but he's really got to work hard to make sure he doesn't fall behind. Yes, we did turn this group upside down. As the supporters are saying in the chat, they're like, oh, you're getting rid of all the Zergs at the start rather than the end of the tournament. And what can I say, guys? Rogue picked this group, the mad lad that he is. Get some Overlords, get some Banelings. He's of course taking a third, but that Roach all in, it's going to come from him. He's not droning at all, and Lambo needs to stop droning. He needs to make Roaches. Now, Lair doesn't really matter. It helps, of course, to get Roach speed, but he needs to just hold the Roach key down. And right now, I don't think Lambo realizes just how all in Rogue is. I mean, you should realize you're up 20 drones here. You've got to just make Roaches, Overlords, Roaches. He's putting 7 Overlords right now. Worst time to be supply blocked. Is that going to allow Rogue to overwhelm him? Honestly, I think it might. To be fair, the Zerglings are pretty good units here, but they're very slow to counterattack. They should have either come in here already. If he had a full Lynx round, I think Lambo wins this. If he brings every Zergling back, he can win this, but not if he loses all of his Roaches first. Rogue committing hard and getting so much damage. Lambo not having the map vision, didn't see this coming, and now he's getting overwhelmed. He's just not quite ready. His Roaches do dodge the Biles, but he's already lost all of his Zerglings. His Roaches, sorry. He needed the Lings and the Roaches to engage together. He's going to get overwhelmed. 20 worker advantage, but the timing from Rogue was crisp, and he finds victory from a severe economic disadvantage. It's a frustrating game for Lambo there, and this all came down to that hole in the vision. I kid you not, if he sees that moving out, he either immediately base trades, or he brings it back and engages all at once. But he loses all of his Roaches beforehand, and he lets the Roach Ravager get in a nice tight area between the buildings. Oh, that's such a tragic mistake for Lambo. He played this early game so well. But hats off to Rogue for just doubling down, denying the scouting, and committing. This Overlord, by the way, it just moved away to try and hide from the Mutalisks, and these Roaches came out. Oh, so awkward for Lambo. The Mutas just clear the vision, and he catches him off guard. Nice game for Rogue. Rogue refusing to go down without a fight. All right, guys. Lambo in the top left side, Rogue in the bottom right. Lambo, I feel like, read that play perfectly, countered it perfectly early on, got himself a lead, but gets caught out by the surprise Roach all in. It's not a great long-term position for Rogue. He really doesn't have anything he can do other than that, and that's why Lambo's going to be kicking himself, because it's not like, oh, this is just unlucky. Yeah, it's unlucky you didn't see it, but I mean, really, there's only one move you have to worry about there from Rogue, and that is a Roach all in off of the 2 base worker, and there's not many other options. Like, it's either that or Rogue's droning up, waiting for his third to finish, and then he'll saturate it all at once it's up, and just accept playing from behind, right? So Lambo will be kicking himself for not seeing that coming. He's going to go for the 15 hatchery, whilst Rogue goes for the 16 spawning pool. Greedy build for Lambo, and I think it's a good choice. He's behind, but it's a good idea to just play confidently, and we'll see how it does develop. This is Eternity's Edge, a rather large map. Another good candidate for Mutas. This is really interesting. I mean, I feel like Rogue losing to SHIN, a bit of a surprise, but it was him just getting a bit too fancy, trying to go to Mutalisks earlier. Now against Lambo, he goes for his Evo build, falls quite far behind there, and he just finds a way with the Roach timing. But I think Rogue should have a bit of a mental edge after that last game, where he feels like, okay, got a few good situations coming up. Let's see what we can pull together. Lambo's gas is going to be later. I would not be surprised if Lambo 2 base walls off this game. Now, for those who don't know, Rogue has been fantastic this season. More gambling than ever from him, and he's always been a bit of a gambler. But I think he just loves the build variety. You give Rogue the ability to just take crazy risks, and especially in ZVZ. I think there's a reason he picked the ZVZ group. He's like, dude, I can play upgraded Lings. I can play Muta Rush. I can do crazy Roach Niduses. He's like, yeah, let's go. It's a shame we haven't seen any late game. You know, that's what was so good about the SERRAL Rogue dynamic last week, was Rogue playing balls to the wall, SERRAL playing so safe, led to some of those Ultralisk versus Lurker late games that were really cool. Don't get to see those very often these days. I wonder if either side tries to play a non-Carapace opening this time. Rogue's still mining gas. Rogue is still mining gas. No Ling speed for Lambo. Lambo's going to be going for a wall-off build on 2 bases with 3 queens. Sending a queen out. Now, this is not a I want to kill your Overlord. This is I want to push your Overlord back. I want to scare your Overlord. Rogue sees it, respects it, pulls back. Baneling S goes down, hidden in the main base. Hidden in the main base, guys. 27, 28 drones. I guess the 29th one's coming. He's got his own 3rd queen. Okay, this is a very weird build for Rogue, guys, because he's both getting an early Bane Nest, Ling speed, but he's also building 3 queens. So it looks like he's trying to make this look more like a wall-off build, but he's actually going to go Ling Bane. And I think he's hoping that Lambo is just completely surprised. Then again, it's 32 drones. What an odd play for Rogue. And he just takes a 3rd. I guess it's just an economic play, but of course Lambo is ahead on workers since he did not go for Ling Speed and Bane Nest. Taking a 2nd and 3rd gases. His queen's going to inject. Ling Speed's not ready just yet. Ooh, okay, good. He almost misplaced the Evo, puts it in the right spot, and we are going to see a +1 range, which makes sense. If you're going 2-base Roach Wall off, you don't want to rush Carapace as much. Overlord's going to pull away here. Rogue comes forward. Will he get the denial? Notice Rogue had a much more defensive Overlord spread. Lambo's was a little bit further forward, which makes it riskier. I think he gets out of there. Overseer's going to morph and head in for him as well. Evo Chamber goes down for Rogue, his 3rd base. Not quite finished, but it's on the way. It's indeed just going to be Lingbane into Mutas for Rogue. So it's Mutalisks for Rogue. Lambo going straight Roaches. Does deny the scouting pretty well so far. And I think you see the second gas, you see the lair. If he can see the lair finish, that would be excellent for Lambo. Let's go to Lambo's vision, guys. Does he see it finish? You know what's funny? Rogue gets scouted there. And actually, yeah, he did see the lair finish. Not sure if he noticed it. But he actually hides a Roach Runner in a second Evo. So Rogue was going Mutalisks, but because Lambo has scouted the Muta play, Rogue is hard pivoting into his own Roach play. Problem, it's going to be very inefficient. He's going to be way behind on the Roaches, and it's going to take him a while to catch up. Lambo, it seems like, is pretty committed to sending this Roach attack across the map. He said, well, if your lair's just finishing, I've got a minute and a half until those Mutalisks can be on the field. So if I hit before then, we should be good. And I mean, Rogue is up on 3 base, right? He's got 5 workers mining that 3rd. So he's got that economic advantage. Lambo incredibly slow to take his 3rd base in this game. Oh man, I don't know how this works out, because like suddenly 13 Roaches are building. Obviously Lambo has some upgrade windows where this could go very well for him, but the lack of a 3rd mining and it being not the shortest push path does make it scary, but ooh. Oh, he's going to drop the creep highway. Nice. That's going to speed up this move across the map. It's also going to allow the Queens to take out an Overlord or 2, which is really lovely. And here we go. It's a big old Roach shove. Of course, Rogue was already into non-stop Roaches, but supply blocked. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't think it's the worst supply block. He should be able to spend most of his money and get those Roaches out before the attack hits. But 26 Roaches with +1 attack coming in. Carapace will kick in 20 seconds during the engagement. And 1-1, neither of the upgrades will be ready for Rogue. Rogue, he's got a few Ravages. He's got to try and buy time for himself. Lambo may be waiting a bit too long. By waiting for his own Carapace, does this give Rogue too much time to get the numbers ready that he needs to defend? I think Corrosive Bile is going to be absolutely huge. Rogue should pull this Ravager off the front lines, by the way. You do not want your Ravager to get stuck in front of your army. That's going to be a nice snipe there for Lambo. But he does lose 2 Roaches for just that 1 Ravager. Actually, I think he might have got one of the Roaches of Rogue as well. Yeah, 1 Roach and a Ravager for 2 Roaches. Not too bad. He's going to shove the ramp now, pushing up that ramp. A bit of a wild choice, but he does move through. So the Biles, they damage his units. They don't really kill too many of them. A few of his Ravagers on the front line, but man, that beautiful arc of defensive Roaches. And Carapace is kicked in for Rogue. His +1 range is going to kick in as well. What wins, guys? Concave or 1-1 upgrades? Well, the 1-1's now kicked in for Rogue as well. Lambo, he really trusted in his upgrades, and I think his upgrades were good, but maybe he should have committed a little bit faster, a little bit harder, rather than waiting for his Carapace. I kind of feel like if he just got the fight to be a little messier than that, not such a perfect concave, it would have been good. That being said, units lost tab is still in his favor. He's got a 3rd base up. He's down 6 drones, but it's still going to be about efficiency long term. But as he overcommits in, now that the upgrades are even, oh, it's so very close. The Biles landing for Rogue onto Lambo's Roaches, but a lot more Roaches do come in. Lambo eating his own Biles, though. A bit of miss micro there. Oh, this is so very close. Remember, guys, Lambo did win the coin toss, which means he would have had his map server first. This one is Rogue's map server. He'll have a slightly better ping. Lambo droning behind this. This is going to reset to a standard Roach v Roach game. Lambo goes +2. And you know Rogue just hates sitting on Roach Wars. Rogue is allergic to boring situations in StarCraft. He throws down a Spire with a Roach army on his doorstep. I mean, this is what got him killed against Shin, but I'd have it no other way. Is it greedy? Yeah. Is it a little bit crazy? 100%. Also, at this point, is Lambo the kind of guy who's going to shove in and kill you? Definitely not. I think it's a pretty good call. I think against Shin, it's a bad move. Against Lambo, play the player, it's a good idea, because when those mutas come out, Lambo's going to kind of be like, are you serious? How'd you squeeze those out so early? Of course, the upgrades are a fair bit ahead for Lambo, especially the +2 Carapace, and Mutalisks will do almost nothing to +2 Carapace Roaches. +2 Carapace Roach has 3 armor, which means the Mutalisk's main attack does only 6 damage, down from 9, and both of its bouncers will only do 0.5 damage, down from 3 and 1 to the minimum amount of damage that you can do in StarCraft, 0.5. half a damage point. A nice contaminate on the +2. Lambo still continuing with his aggressive position. He can actually get position on top of the ramp now, but he's not confident until he has +2. Kind of feel like he maybe could have just taken an opportunistic fight there, but Lambo, he's a man who, for those who don't know, he comes from Deutschland, a land of efficiency. And to attack before my upgrades are ready, it goes against my every fiber in my being. And I'm with him, man. It feels so bad to push in and then lose a fight. And you're like, well, I knew my upgrades were about to finish. So he waits the upgrades. Problem is, this gives time for the mutas to come out. The mutas can focus down all of his ravages. He has to make a decision right now. Either go or run. And he is going to run. And that is going to be a bit awkward for him. He's still out here in the open. And actually, he's changed his mind. He's going to go for it. Lambo knows he's got 2-2 versus 1-1. If he can fight right now, it's not bad, man. He's got +2 carapace on the way. It's not quite there, unfortunately, but he's got 2-1. He's going to pivot around here, and he's going to commit all out. No Hydra Den down, nothing like that. He is committed 100% to this engagement. He will deny the 4th base of his opponent, but he needs more to happen. Those Mutalisks are just wearing on him little bit by little. They're taking a while. You can see it's only a few Mutalisks. They take a long time to do damage. Lambo's over here, but he's afraid to commit into the roaches, and I feel like his timing's disappearing. He's got 2-2 upgrades now. He's ignoring the Mutalisks. Oh, man. This feels like a very Australian experience. Those mosquitoes buzzing around his head. He can hear them buzzing in his ear as he's trying to sleep at night. He ends up pushing in, but it's a great defensive position for Rogue. Is Rogue able to hold? Rogue's upgrades coming in. His +2's kicked in. His +2 carapace is on the way, and I think Rogue does hold on there. Lambo perhaps waiting a little too long for the +2 carapace. I think he needed to go the moment +2 range was done and just full send it. But Lambo maybe just slightly too careful. I don't know if it would have worked either way, to be fair. Those Mutalisks stacked up so much damage, though, over that period of time. Queens will be able to defend along with these roaches, but he's down now 30 supply. The efficiency's gone the other direction. I think that's the sort of awkward spot where I think SERRAL's probably the one guy who just goes home and defends, builds his anti-air units, and just keeps looking for efficient fights, but it's such an awkward spot to be maxed on roaches with an upgrade advantage. It feels unnatural to not use it. And yet part of me says maybe SERRAL would have just pulled back and been defensive. Rogue has too many units now. Even though he's down 1 carapace upgrade, he's got the important +2 range. Mutalisk just adding little bits of damage. Can shove on top. Beautiful stutter step. And Rogue does get a 2-0 from a very dicey position. Honestly, 2 games in a row, Rogue was in a dicey spot. But he stays focused. And he does manage to finish it off. Very nice play. Good ZVZ series here. But Rogue will stay alive, and unfortunately, Lambo will say goodnight. Whoa! Hope you guys enjoyed the first opening matches, by the way, for PiGFest. We're going to do a very quick Patreon shout-out here to say thank you to everyone supporting on the Patreon. If you guys aren't supporting, but you want to check it out, and you're watching this on YouTube down the track, don't forget to check it out. We've got Peden and Dragosar and Oko H, our conductors of the D-Town Express. If you'd also like to conduct Ds into town, Ds what? Oh, nothing? Anyways, point being, there's perks down below. Click in the description if you're watching on YouTube. If you guys are watching on Twitch or YouTube Live and you want to check it out, type !Patreon in the description. Check it out, and that is a way to support us for those watching down the track. And remember, of course, every single dollar that's donated during PiGFest on my live stream goes towards the prize pool. So drop by the live stream, use those donation links, check out our community posts as well if you are watching after the fact to help fund the prize pool and fund future PiGFests. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.